If you recently had a pacemaker implanted, giving up scuba diving can sit heavy on your chest. You might feel permanently grounded. It is easy to assume the biggest hurdle is the hardware itself, wondering if your new device will simply crush or fail under 60 feet of ocean pressure. But you can cross that worry off the list. Manufacturers test most modern pacemakers to easily withstand normal recreational diving depths. The casing is built for it. The real barrier to getting back in the water has almost nothing to do with the depth rating of the titanium box in your chest. Starting with "I have a pacemaker," the decision path splits. The thin line represents device limits, but the thick path is your biological engine. Your doctor focuses entirely on this thick right side, asking one vital question: why did you need the pacemaker originally? The path back to the reef depends on a rigorous, objective evaluation of your heart's actual performance under load. To figure out if your body can handle the ocean again, diving physicians look strictly at your specific cardiac diagnosis. This chart shows exactly how they grade that risk. We have a 4-quadrant matrix here, plotting your cardiac stability on the vertical axis against your exercise capacity on the horizontal axis. Look at the top right quadrant. This is the area where high stability meets high physical capacity. If your pacemaker was inserted for a complete heart block that is now entirely well-controlled, you fall into this area. You also land here if you have stable bradycardia and are living your day-to-day life completely symptom-free. Landing in this specific quadrant gives you a very high probability of being medically cleared to dive. The trade-off is strict, though. This clearance requires documented, ongoing stability. If you develop a single new symptom, your dive status is immediately revoked. Now look at the bottom left quadrant, where stability is compromised and the medical risks multiply. If your medical history includes unexplained syncope, meaning you have sudden fainting spells and doctors aren't sure why, you are placed here. The same applies if you deal with significant, ongoing ventricular arrhythmias, and it also applies to anyone presenting with moderate to severe heart failure. The clinical outcome for this quadrant is clear. It results in an automatic and permanent disqualification from scuba diving. These specific conditions carry a high risk of sudden loss of consciousness. Because losing consciousness underwater leads directly to drowning, these risks override any hardware capabilities. Stability at rest is only half the equation. Wrestling into a wetsuit, fighting a surface current, or swimming against a heavy surge demands a massive amount of cardiovascular reserve. Your diving physician will not simply take your word that you feel fit enough. You have to prove it on paper. This means you will undergo a formal clinical exercise stress test. You will be wired up to an ECG and pushed to your physical limits on a treadmill to see exactly how your heart responds under heavy load. The passing criteria are rigid. During this intense exertion, you must show 0 signs of chest pain, no extreme breathlessness, and absolutely no dizziness or palpitations. As a diver with a pacemaker, you are held to a more rigorously tested standard of physical stamina than the average recreational diver. You must prove you can handle the unpredictable stress of the ocean without hesitation. Once your biological engine passes the test, we still have to handle the administrative reality of the device itself. You cannot make assumptions here. You must cross-reference your exact pacemaker model against the manufacturer's maximum pressure ratings. It is this physical housing, the pulse generator, that has to be explicitly rated for the depths you intend to dive. Do not guess. You need to manually verify these technical specifications with your device clinic or your cardiologist. Your device must also pass a functional requirement. It needs to be what doctors call rate responsive. A rate-responsive pacemaker detects physical exertion and automatically increases your heart rate to match the demands of diving. If your device doesn't scale up when you swim hard, you cannot safely dive. Then there is the reality of how that device got into your chest in the first place. Implantation is an invasive surgical procedure. You are not going straight from the operating table to the dive boat. Most diving positions enforce a mandatory waiting period, requiring at least 6 to 12 weeks of completely dry time after surgery. There are 2 reasons for this wait. First, the pacemaker leads literally need time to securely embed themselves into your heart tissue so they don't dislodge. Second, your surgical wound must be perfectly healed. Any tiny opening or complication is an invitation for severe infection from ocean water. Navigating these administrative checks and mandatory biological waiting periods will force you to delay your gratification. But they are entirely non-negotiable hurdles before you can safely get wet. So let's put all of this together to assess your immediate reality right now. This scorecard synthesizes the evaluation criteria into 3 distinct clearance profiles: green light, yellow light, and red light. You fit the green light profile if your underlying issue is a stable conduction abnormality. You can power through heavy exercise without getting breathless, and you are at least 3 months past your surgery date. You hit the red light profile if your history involves unexplained fainting, moderate heart failure, or if you struggle with basic physical exertion. In these cases, you must walk away from the sport. Here is your next move. Stop scrolling through diving forums trying to find depth ratings for your pacemaker serial number. Instead, pick up the phone and book an appointment specifically with a physician experienced in diving medicine. Tell them you need to schedule a formal stress test. Safely resuming your diving career hinges on securing a formal, clinical validation of your heart's true biological capacity.